If an organization is curious about objectives and key results, how would they know that OKRs are right for them?
Yeah, it's a great question. And in the beginning, when we introduced OKRs 10 years ago, I thought OKRs are fit for everyone. I mean, they work in any industry I know of, they work in any context, in any region, and really everywhere, in any language. And later I realized, okay, there are definitely a few prerequisites that if you don't have those, it's really difficult to make OKRs work. And so the first one is, if you don't have a strategy, or if you have a strategy and it just exists on paper and it doesn't move into prioritization, then it's really difficult to make OKRs work. OKRs need focus, and OKRs need you to be able to prioritize. And that means you need to say no to a few things. And many organizations have a strategy on paper, but in reality, they want to still keep going on their old strategy, and they want to execute and just add the new strategy. And that doesn't work. Then we have worked with a few organizations that want to basically write down OKRs for everyone in the organization. So CEO and the leadership team invites us to a offsite, and then they have the expectation, now we're going to set OKRs for the whole organization. We're going to set OKRs for Susan in marketing, and we're going to set OKRs for Alex in HR. And honestly, that's a terrible idea. You do need to involve people, because only if you involve people in the goal-setting process, they will gain a better understanding of the strategy. They will gain more buy-in and more energy towards achieving these goals. And if you set them for someone, it's just a depowering exercise, and it's not creating any energy or any alignment. And so the next step is related. If you can't deal with transparency, if you can't deal with the fact that now you can suddenly see the key results on multiple levels of the organization, and if your managers can't deal with that transparency either, it's going to be really, really difficult. So what does dealing with transparency mean? It means to us that if you're abusing transparency, if you're going in and punish someone for not achieving their OKRs because now you can see that, that's a terrible idea. If you are just using it to move out certain people and create basically a culture of fear, terrible idea. And that is not what we support and what we really want to create in an organization. And then really, if you believe that, so if you can't plan for the next 3 months because maybe you are a super agile startup on day number one. On day number one, I might not really set OKRs yet, because again, you probably, everything shifts day to day very often. And so for super young and super small companies, I don't know if it is a great fit. But then also, if you believe, and I know no industry anymore where that's true, but if you believe you can have a 5-year strategy and plan it out to the last detail for the next 5 years, that's not something I believe in. And so that's not something we see successful. We see very often organizations are trying to set OKRs 3 quarters, 4 quarters out. They're now in the first quarter, they are suddenly setting OKRs for the last quarter because they believe they can just do the math and this is how the fourth quarter will look like. And then reality hits. Sometimes they're doing better than expected. Sometimes they're doing worse than expected. And whatever happens, you need to be able to shift the strategy and shift your OKRs. And so if you believe that there's no reason to be agile, then OKRs are probably not a good fit.